Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch Podcast. My name is Adam Cohn. I am your host. The CSGO Clutch Podcast is sponsored by our partners over at PrizePicks. Head to prizepicks.com and use that promo code CLUTCH. Again, that's promo code CLUTCH. New depositors get a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. My name is Adam Cohn. I am your host, and it is a solo pod edition here today on the podcast. Dan will be rejoining us for tomorrow's podcast, and looking in to get into this very fun two-game slate here for Flashpoint. We have Heroic versus G2 and NIP versus FPX. This is going to be a fun slate. But as always, folks, before we do that, we're going to get into our lineup recap. Before we do that, hit that like button for us. Leave a comment down below if you would like, and also hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. And don't forget to hit that notification bell as well. Make sure every single one of you all get these notified as soon as they drop. That way you have enough time to listen to the podcast and get all your DFS research in. Alrighty, folks, with that out of the way with, let's review the winning lineup. It was a three-way tie for first place. And the winning lineup was 3 Mouse, 2 Astralis, and had 1 Hyena runoff, and it wasn't Kirby. So, we said this on the podcast yesterday, Gade was too cheap, he's too good. So Gade was a good play, definitely a value play. Even though Hyenas lost and Anonymous won, Gade was optimal. And Kirby was popping up as well. However, the winning lineup was Captain Frozen, Rops, and Acor. Kind of no surprise there. Rops went absolutely nuts. 43, 8, and 21. 7 first kills, 2 1v2 clutches, and an ace. 132 Draftkings points in the captain spot. Robson 74.5 DraftKings points and Acor 66 DraftKings points. Magisk and Zipix were the 2 Astralis that you needed. And pretty straightforward lineup. You needed that 1 Hyena one-off, and Mouse swept big. Had 2 sweeps. Astralis sweeping Del Pony. Dan and I were really on Astralis. And Mouse outright sweeping big was also good to see. Nothing else really to go over there. Definitely a good breakdown. Let's get into today's slate here, folks. Heroic versus G2. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun from a Counter-Strike perspective. This is going to be fun from a DFS perspective, and I'll tell you why. Let me go over some pricing here real quick. We'll head over here to the flex pricing. I'll go with Heroic pricing first. KD in the Opper and IGL for Heroic is 9,400. Tessus at 8,600. Shush at 7,800. Stalin 7,000. Refresh at 6,200. On the G2 side of things, Nico is 8,000. I don't understand why he's not more expensive right now. Hunter is at 7,600. He's gotten a massive downgrade in pricing. Amanek, who I believe now is the primary Opera for G2, is 6,600. Nexa is 5,200. He's the IGL for G2. And Jax is 4,400. That's too low for him. Don't play Kenny S. He's 5,400, and he is on G2's bench. Now we'll get the pricing out of the way with, folks. Let's actually talk about this, because this could go one of two ways. If you're on the side that you think Heroic continues their dominant streak, which I do. Again, I'm also a Heroic fan. So, is there a little bias in that? Sure. From an unbiased standpoint, they're the second best team in the world behind Gambit. Period. And quite frankly, Heroic is making a strong case for best team in the world over Gambit. The way Gambit has been. They've lost to some interesting teams lately. They seem to be either been figured out, or they're playing too passive, or whatever the case may be with Gambit. But Heroic are looking absolutely dominant. We're looking at a G2 team who is now, once again, switching up roles and trying to find out what works for them. With Amanek now, I believe, is the primary opera. I got to go listen. Head over to Twitch and go to find the HLTV page and take a listen to last HLTV confirmed. I have to listen to that as well. But I believe I saw something about Amanek being... we looked at this last time. The roles that Amanek is opping more than Nico is. Nico's going back to rifling more. Gee, there's a thought. Anyway, I don't mean to discredit, Nico in that hybrid role. They tried it, wasn't working. Hopefully this G2 line can get some more continuity with Amanek at the opping, but no offense to Amanek, he's nowhere near as good as Kenny S. Even though Kenny S was ridiculously inconsistent, you're still asking a non-opper to take the opping role. Jax at 4,400 is interesting. In case I haven't made it clear, all 5 of Heroic are firmly in play on the slate. If he's going to be 4,400 in the slate, here are his last 5 games. 58 DraftKings points, 54, 47, 43, 52. They're not slate-breaking games. He's 4,400. If he's anywhere near optimal, or anywhere near like 60 points, I'll take it. I will absolutely take it on this slate. The last time he got 60 DraftKings points was back on March 13th versus Nip. That was 66 DraftKings points. He hasn't scored more than 60 DraftKings points since then. His highest scoring game since then was versus Mel Sports, where he hit 58 points. So he's, I believe, the entry fragger for G2. He's not being asked to do a lot. So let's keep that into account. Like I said, all of Heroic are in play on the slate. I think Nico is about as close of a lock button play as we're going to get. He's my favorite run back from first glance. I mean, here's his recent performances last 5 games. 64 DK points, 93, 94, 56, 107. Yeah, we're playing Nico. I don't mind if you captain Nico. I don't mind if you go captain Nico into Heroic. I think Nico's too good of a play not to play. Now, Hunter's an interesting case. Let's take a look at Hunter's recent game logs. He's cooled down quite a bit. 75, 71, 63, 43, 57. Hunter has cooled down quite a bit since roles are changing. Now, does he still have slate breaking upside? Absolutely. I think this is more of a Heroic win 7 time out of 10 match. G2 still need to be more consistent. Heroic are looking so dominant right now, I wouldn't really bet against them. But I can easily see Nico getting there as a run back. I can see Hunter getting there as a run back. I can see Jax getting there as a run back if you want a super cheap punt value. Amanek and Nex are okay for G2 stacks only. I wouldn't put them as a run back. But like I said, I really like Heroic. But I would really like Nico on this slate. Second game here on the slate is Nip versus FPX. Oh, Nip. I'm gonna keep my with that whole fiasco with them versus with Anonymous and the packet loss, and we're past it. Well, we're past it. Nip's moved on. Anonymous advanced. And, I mean, they had a close game versus Anonymous. It was 16 to 14. Nip won. But it was apparently a very close contested map. So, we take a look at the Nip pricing on this slate. And device is 9,000. Res is 8,200. Hampus is 7,200. Plopsky is at 6,400. ZTR is at 4,800. I still think ZTR is the IGL. And we know device is the opper. On the FPX side of things, Madden is 8,400, Stiko 7,400, Zen's at 6,800, Farley the opper for FPX 5,800, Emmy, who I believe is the IGL for FPX, is 4,600. Farley is getting the device discount. That is very cheap for him, but he also hasn't really shown it lately. We can take a look at Farley's stats. Here are his last 5 games, DraftKings points wise, 65, 49, 51, 77, 57. He's up and down. I wouldn't go crazy with him on this slate versus Nip. I will say this. I think all 4 of these teams have a chance to win. I think the biggest upset chance is FPX beating Nip. And I think FPX can beat Nip. I don't know if the DFS scores are going to reflect it. I still think players like Device and Rez and Hampus and Plopsky can still, from a DFS standpoint, outscore some of the FPX players. However, FPX have been looking solid lately. So I would say my favorite play from FPX is Zen, followed by Madden and Stiko, followed up by Farley and then Emmy. All 5 of Nip are in play. ZTR only for large field MMEs. We take a look at ZTR's last 5 game logs: 51, 19, 43, 46, 37. He's not a high fragger. He's still new to the squad. He's still new to Tier 1 CSGO. I wouldn't be 100% invested in ZTR on this slate, but I don't mind it either. Definitely ways to get different. Alright, it's time for our core value GPP and favorite team stack segment here on the podcast. Core play for me on this slate is Nico. G2 Nico. Value play for me on this slate is going to be Farley at 5,800, and I'll give you a bonus one. It's Jax at 4,400. GPP play is going to be Cadian, Tessus, Madden. I also really like, again, like I said, I like Zen as well. My favorite team stack, I do not have one. This is a great MME slate. This is get exposure to all 4 of these teams. Go overweight on the guys you want to go overweight on. And that's pretty much it. I have no favorite here, because I think all of them can get there. I will say my favorite large field GPP stack, that's probably going to go under-owned, is FPX. Let's head over to our prize picks segment now. I'm going to refresh the prize picks page here. As always, make sure you're checking back here on prize picks for the latest and greatest. Looks like we're still waiting for some Tier 1 to be loaded up here for Flashpoint. So I'll say this: Gorillas versus 100 PG. I like Sunny. I like the under. They're incorporating a new player into that lineup, Esperanto. We can go over to the recent news. Esperanto has stepped down from Gorillas, or exiting Gorillas. So I will say we'll do that. So we will take care of that there. We can actually take a look at Synergy's performance. Let's do that. Head over here to matches. Let's head over to, where is Gorillas? Gorillas versus 100 PG. Can take a look at Sunny, stats, matches. What has he done recently? We'll go online over the last month of play. His stats haven't been there with Gorillas. More reds than greens, not exactly a high scorer. However, we could take a look at more of the stats. So like versus Sengal, 23 and 17, that would have got you 40. He would hit the over. 20 and 16 versus LDLC, that would have hit the under. Again, we're looking at that 37.5 scoreline. Carante, 16 and 11, that gets you 27. That would hit the under. 17 and 14, that's the under. 21 and 18, that would hit the over. 30 and 27 for against Nordavind. So, like, this is... He can get there in an over, sure. I just think I will take the under on Sunny on this slate. Let's take a look and go down a little bit further. One stuck out to me when I was taking a look at this earlier. Denny Slaw versus Endpoint, 40.5. I'll take the under. Just 33.5 versus 4s. I'll absolutely take the over. If you want a 4th one, I'll take Zordy, 36.5 over as well. That is going to do it here, folks, for this podcast. Again, head over to the fine folks over at hltv.org. Awesome website over here. You can check out the recent news, matches, results, events, all of that fun stuff. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me here on the podcast. Like I said, Dan will be rejoining us for the next Flashpoint main slate. That'll be tomorrow night. You have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at AdamWX21, and check out our new Twitter at CSGO Clutch Pod on Twitter. All right, folks, I wish you all good luck on this slate. Latest, peoples.